Morning, legends. We're rolling.
Yeah.
A shout out to Suki Sports. We got our Suki kit.
There we go.
Suki short.
Here we go.
Yeah, man. Let's go. We're putting it to the true test today.
All right.
Yeah, we really enjoyed those jerseys on this ride. They're very comfortable.
Nice crispy morning here. It's about probably 15, 16 Celsius, 62, 63.
They're great in hot weather. I'm turning on my computer here.
Yeah. All right.
I got a note from Suki after the ride. They saw the video. They saw the trailer, I think. And she wants
that's good.
She wants me to try a smaller size.
Nice and cool, man.
Instead of 2XL.
Yeah, that's the guy
XL.
who's doing the front.
Paul's talking about the sign in my yard. I got a guy doing some work.
I will explain to you.
And so he put his sign out there. But what I was saying is that we're going to be trying one size down because I like my jerseys super tight. And once I loaded this stuff as we rode, it was a little saggier than I liked. And I'm glad that the marketing lady at Suki Sports is saying that in the future they will send something smaller. But we may just go ahead and get it altered. It's just the waist. I want the waist tighter because I load my jerseys a lot. So it was a little looser than I'd like. I like it a little tighter and higher up. But it didn't hurt the performance of the jersey per se. I just felt a little more movement than I'm used to. So I periodically would reach back and push it over. So I have my phone in there, the bag. I mean, it's loaded with a lot of food right there.
The bag.
So my phone's in that pocket with the food. I leave the middle open for the camera. So I'm carrying more things than the average cyclist, but still, I need to tighten up the waist. And so we'll get our local seamstress to do that. On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We rolled into the Woodlands to the Alden Bridge Village Center, picked up Team RR, went down Research Forest, to Honia Egypt Road, through the Grandlake Estates, Keenan Cutoff, 149, Spring Branch Road, lots of action. We filmed all the way to Gary and then we turned off the camera. We had to wait for a train, so I took a picture of the Parley frame that James rides. That's the one a member of the channel wanted to see, the brand name. We left the group in Dacus and continued. They stopped. We didn't need to stop, so we rolled back into Montgomery. We took 105, went out to Navajo, to Leah Drive, Fish Creek, back towards the Woodlands. It was very breezy. We were feeling good, so we extended the ride once we got into the Woodlands, took the wide area outside of Sterling Ridge, and wrapped things up. I think you will love the clips that we got for you. Lots of action. We're on Conroe Huffsmith Road.
That's good.
We turn on the camera later in the warm-up. We're about maybe 2 kilometers or so from the open road, 2978. So as I said earlier, we're still trying to figure out the best sizing for our Suki fit. And I believe that for race fit, you got to go down a little bit because the fabric is very stretchy. And so the marketing director agrees and wants us to try something smaller. But the ones that they've already sent will just get the waist tight. Just a little loose in the waist because of the kind of stuff that we carry. But other than that, during the ride, I didn't feel that the jersey was too big. It just wasn't as tight once I loaded the pockets. So we'll fix the current ones. So if you're getting a Suki jersey, go with your regular size per the dimensions. If you want like a club fit per se, but if you want a real race fit, then go down one size. But either way, you will probably be okay because until I loaded the pockets, the jersey was pretty good. But I put a lot of stuff in my pockets. you got heavy foam and so forth. So we'll get that sorted. But I love the kit. It worked really well. It's great for hot weather. Breathes really well. I'm actually wearing it with a base layer, even though the temperature is mild. It was tough finding a pair of socks to go with it, but Paul pointed out those would work and they look great, the ones I'm wearing currently. It's hard to get the right shade of orange. So we're heading towards 2978. We were not aware that we're actually going to use Honia Egypt because when we got to the parking lot this morning, they'd already talked about the route. It's a really good turnout. I think we had about 20 riders to start.
See the camera to tell work.
We're approaching 2978, the open road. This section of it is called Honia Egypt Road.
Doing it intermittently.
Yeah.
Program running.
No, it's the lap. It's counting my lap because I had it set yesterday when I was testing it. I just forgot to turn it off.
Well, Paul has a new head unit, the 1030 Garmin, and it's basically counting his lap function because he had turned it on during his testing. So it was beeping. You can set a predetermined interval. So he's excited because we're going to go on Honia Egypt Road. We're not aware of what the route was going to be because when we got the parking lot, they'd already discussed the route.
That's called Honia Egypt Community
Road, yeah.
So I told him, I said, well, this is Honia Egypt that we're on right now. There's a little piece on 2978. And when you turn left, we call it Honia Egypt Community Road. I told him, let's get up there. We got the left turn signal. So in a little bit, there will be a car behind. I will tell him, single file, car back. Everybody does that except Abby. Can you hear me? I said car back, single file. As a courtesy, in this situation on a road, 2-lane road like this, do single file where you see I am. So the whole group can stay here, but that allows the drivers to see around you all, to be able to pass you when it's clear. Everybody has done that except Abby. He's sitting out, further out in the lane. And of course that blocks the vision of the drivers. So the guy will be annoyed. By the time he comes around, he will gun his engine. And then Paul would say he was annoyed. All I do is I say car back because I'm behind here. If you don't move out of the way, that's your choice. But as a courtesy, we should be like you see everybody else to the right. He does that quite frequently. I'm not sure why.
Car back.
Once again, Paul says car back. It's the same guy back there. Paul says he's pissed. He'll get over it. But just as a courtesy, you want them to be able to see around you so they can decide when it's safe to pass. It's a lot easier on a road like this to ride single file. Legally, you can ride two abreast. But as a courtesy, it's best to keep a straight single file line on a road like this. If we had 2 lanes on each side, it would take 1 round. So this warm-up, or actually the opening of this ride, is very fast. We're moving along, 23 to 25 miles an hour. Just sitting in, keeping my legs turning, soft pedaling here. The road is slightly downhill here. In a little bit, we're gonna have a nice descent. This is the grade we climb when we're going south. We're going north. You get to enjoy a lot of freewheeling here. Stay to the left to avoid braking. I let Paul know it's time to move up in the line. Got a lot of gaps back here, so I'm moving up. I observe that wine grind here is leaving a lot of gaps, so I move up and close the gap. I will get behind the first rider that's staying close, which is Abby right here. Got a lot of cracks to the right that I'm aware of, so you can see where I am. Just slightly to the left of where the tires ride. I'm going ahead and treading the needle here to stay off that ridge to the left that you see Abby's on. It's nice and smooth over there. And then there's a little bit of an uneven surface when you come off of there, so that's what you saw on the link to the left. I'm sitting on Greg's wheel in shelter. The pace is fast here, so I'm staying close.
Hey, Paul, how you doing, buddy? I'm good, man. I'm good, thanks.
Always nice to see the twins together.
Yeah.
Dave pulled off the front, drifting to the back as we go by. He's a bit further to the left than I usually like to place myself after pulling. I like to stay as close as possible to the line coming through. You don't need to be way over on that side. Maybe 2 feet to the left would be enough. If that, foot usually. The road goes up, I keep my cadence up. At this point, we're not sure if we're going to stay on Honia Egypt Road all the way into Honia, whether we're going to be turning into the neighborhood. I'm not thinking about it at this point. In a few kilometers, then we see that we're going to be turning into the neighborhood. The reason is that it turns out they wanted to do Spring Branch Road, another one of my favorite roads in this county. So I ride the smooth edge there, using my hips to avoid the reflectors. That's where the draft is. I'm sitting a little to the right of Greg. Slight grade here. You can see the road going up. Keep the effort as steady as possible. Keeping my engine ready to respond to any changes in speed. Any and all changes, basically. Riding in a group is a little different than riding solo, because you're not really cruising until you get to the front. You have to keep the line tight. You can see me dodging the reflectors. I use my hips to do that. And right here we find out that we're going to be turning. I can tell because the power's off. I'm not sure why Abby is all the way on that other side. If a car shows up, that's going to be an issue. That's funny. So we turn here. There's a car coming out the exit gate. Some riders will go through there. I think Paul, the long guy, ends up going through after this car. I stay on the right because Jerry entered the code and the gate opened. So we're going through the entrance gate on the right.
Paul, there are so many jackrabbits on today's ride. I can't even count them all. They're everywhere you look.
And Mark just told Paul that there are so many jackrabbits on today's ride, he can't count them all. That's one of the jackrabbits on the left, Jerry. I think Logan's is probably considered to be a jackrabbit. I don't consider myself to be a jackrabbit because I really just like to follow what they do. By jackrabbit, what he means, people who like to alter the pace. I got my Renee's Hurst tires on today. They were talking to me the whole ride. I love listening to them.
Look at how dirty those brakes are.
It's just beautiful. Jerry on his S5. That's Greg on the right, sitting next to Jerry. He's riding a TT bike. Go ahead and rev up, get up to Jerry. Jerry's looking for his friend. He brought a guest. I think his name is Philip. That's what he's looking for. He told us, looking for him. I think I saw him. He's right there. He rode well. His guest rode well. Go far. So he's looking for his buddy. That's why he pulled out of the line to drift to the back. At this point, the whole group is still together.
King cage today, man.
What?
Yeah. I swapped that yesterday. I have one more to go.
Yeah, we're talking about the components. Paul had carbon cages on his bike, and one day one of them just broke. You know, they're very fragile. So he went with the metal cage. He was telling me.
Yeah, I just can't believe how light they are. I tell you.
They're like 28 grams each. Super lightweight titanium bottle cage. You buy them and pretty much set it and forget about it. They just work. I've got a copy of them, but
Yes. Oh yeah, that's where especially gold.
So we're at the top of zone 2 as we ride in the pace line. And it's one of the benefits of riding with the group. The guy behind here, I didn't get his name, but he's making sure he's in the draft. He's tucked in behind Paul. Oh man, he was one of the ones that were at, we got off camera where we're stopped by our long train. And I heard him tell somebody, man, this was fast. It's like, it's a smile. He's ridden with these guys before, because when he got to the parking lot, Mark welcomed him and said, long time no see. Something like that. Those speed humps are well placed. They're not super aggressive. If you take them right, there's not too much of a shock. This is, they put them, it's throughout this neighborhood to get people to keep the speed quiet per se. So they don't affect the bike too much. You can stand or take the weight off and you just roll over. There's a wide, and so it's easier to get over on the bike. You see me downshifting. I'm downshifting my right hand there. I just kept going down, down, down because the road's going up. I think it's around 2 or 3%. You can see my cadences up there. You gotta find whatever cadence allows you to do that speed with the smallest possible gear without over revving. It's more of the speed bumps. That's what I'm signaling for. You see, I'm spinning around 120 RPMs. Quickest way to wake up your legs. They're standing, I'm sitting and revving up. You have to find the ratio you need that will give you the feel you need as you ride in all situations. You don't want to labor unnecessarily.
Look at that signal. See, this is what I'm talking about. Immediately.
What is Paul talking about? His new head.
Just automatically does
He's
that.
got
I
all
don't
these
have to
things
program.
turned on that tells you what turns you.
That means you're a marathon.
I don't. I turned off mine. I only use
capture everything.
turn by turn directions when I'm using a route that I'm unfamiliar with. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Directions. I have mine turned off.
I don't use all the features of like they've got high limits on your heart rate, high limits on your cadence, all this stuff. I don't use all of that. I don't like too many beeps when I'm riding. So when we're using unfamiliar route, then I use turn by turn navigation. And besides, if you turn on all that stuff, it runs your battery down quicker anyway. I rev up to kind of close the gap to these guys here. And Paul was saying that he was behind me and he saw me doing a lot of shifting. He said, man, you're shifting a lot. I told him, yeah, we laugh about it, but I said, that's why you carry 11 gears. I want to use a lot of them. Depending on the terrain you're on, but use the gears you need. Like when we turn here, I'm already in the proper gear. So I'm biomechanically ready to accelerate. So you don't get gapped. You stop at a red light, shift down before the stop. So you're not laboring when the light changes to get up to speed. These speed humps, as I mentioned earlier, they're very tolerable in this neighborhood. Some other neighborhoods we go through, they've got some serious little curves they call speed humps. I always try to stay in a gear, especially in the group with changing speeds, that will allow me to accelerate with minimal effort. And I can change my selection after that as needed. The road goes up here, you can see it. It says 3%. I got there quickly. That's another reason to be in the proper ratio. If you're not in the proper ratio when it's time to really change pace, your legs can be tight. And there's a tendency to be reluctant to change the pace when your legs are heavy. You have to ride differently in the group than you would do in a time trial or a solo ride. It's always different. In less than a kilometer, everybody starts to sprint up one of these hills. I was not really expecting it, but once I saw the guy on the left, he's sitting next to James. James is on my right. I'm kind of sitting in the middle of the two of them. He starts to sprint and I just take off. That was a lot of fun. He started to go and I was taken by surprise. I didn't expect him to go like he went because everybody was just really out of the saddle. They weren't really sprinting per se at that moment. And then he just started going faster. So I started to close the gap and decided, oh, I'm catching up to him kind of early, so let me just go ahead and push. I moved to the left to use the wind to slow me down. And then I'm going to drift behind him and hold my position in pace. I guess he and James had decided they were going to sprint because he's looking at James like he's expecting James to do something. You see, he was looking to the right. He's going to look again, yeah. So I guess they must have decided. I didn't know what they were doing. Then I saw him go. I stood up, and then he looked like he was really giving it his all, and then I went. Look at my watts, 1,200 plus watts. I'm past him already. I'm going to move to the right and then turn off the power. So Mark said that somebody said something wrong to John. I guess that's his name that started the sprint. The keypad is on the opposite side of the gate. So here, usually somebody will climb over the gate if there's not a car, or the car comes shortly after we get there. I go all the way to the gate and do like a U-turn. It doesn't matter which direction the cars come from, whether it's behind us or across the other side of the gate. It's just so they can trigger the gate. If someone says somebody's got to climb the fence. I'm not going to be climbing in these cycling shoes. The bottom's too slippery for that wooden fence. So there's a white car coming that triggers the gate.
That's the trick.
So we get through,
Mike done?
and we're waiting for some riders that needed to take a health break. So we just soft that lane.
Somebody say that kid made you look bad? Is that what got you up that hill? I couldn't stand it any longer. You've always been cruel like this. I try not to be at conference too much.
So in a short while, the rest of the group will come around. Once everybody gets together, we kind of get things rolling again. This is a good opportunity in the ride for you to drink. I think I'm getting a drink up here right now. Drink, eat, do whatever you need to do while you have this little break. So that's Darren on my left. And I've been calling James Darren. So we got to clear it up. We stopped for the train. I went over and asked James what his name was. Once I put my phone and all the food in there, and the bag and the camera, when I put the camera up in the middle, it was just so much weight, and the fabric here is nice and stretchy on this jersey. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to tighten up the waist. I should fix that issue. Future jerseys will just size down. Instead of 2XL, I'll get an XL. The shorts perform flawlessly. We just pretty much just forgot about it. They did their job. I love the pads and the placement of the pads. Nothing's wasted. The pads just where you need them and nowhere else. On the sit bones. I feel the pace pick up. Just accelerate, stay. I think there's a gap. We got some riders up front. Try not to waste energy in the group. Sit close to a wheel at all times and be alert. Somebody twisted a screw up there, I guess. They decided to close up to the few riders that were hanging off the front. "53 kilometers an hour. We're in the 30s, like 31 to 32 miles per hour, thereabouts. Might be closer to 33. Open a gap. The riders that were not paying attention, but the power's off here. The road goes up. We did good work on this ride. There wasn't a whole lot of hanging around. There wasn't a whole lot of stopping. So the effort was on. There's a car back there, but we're already near the corner. So we're going to go ahead and turn. Keenan Cutoff Road. There's a car to the right. He's going to end up stopping for us, but he really should have just gone because that's the right of way. It throws the rhythm off when they do that. And there's a diesel coming from the left. He signals and he's slowing down because he's going to be turning into this neighborhood. So we figure out, okay, we can go.
It's turning. It's turning. Let's go.
So the diesel slowed down enough. The guy on the left there, he's turning into the subdivision. And then the other driver had stopped. You can see him on the camera. I went ahead and ride up here to close the gap to these guys. I don't want Paul working here because we're coming into Spring Branch. Basically on the wheels here, you gotta make your move quickly and then sit in, save your energy. Yeah, my phone in that pocket with the food in there is forcing the jersey to twist a little bit because the waist is not as tight as I like, actually. So once that's resolved, it will hold its position regardless of what you put in. The upper part of the jersey fits me well. It's just that waist. So we're gonna try a smaller size, see how that works out for the future kit in these guys. And it should be okay because this jersey is very stretchy. I like them tight anyway. That's what the lady from Suki said. She saw the details. She said the designer said you need to go down one size since you like it tight. I think she saw the trailer. You probably saw the stuff in the pocket and you could tell. Because it should sit up a little higher on my back. It didn't bother me during the ride, but when you stand, I could feel it. And you saw me reach back a couple of times already to move that pocket back to the left. riding 6-7 hours, so we carry a lot of stuff. So that pocket is loaded. That's all the more reason to make sure the waist is tight. This entire ride, the pace was kept up. We didn't have too many lulls. We're heading towards Spring Branch Road via FM 149. So when you're on a ride and you know, or even if you don't know that there's going to be a harder part coming up, when the pace is sedate per se, use that opportunity to save your energy. So even though the pace is not super hard, this road's going up, and you can see right here, look at the watts, 350 plus. Someone went harder as the road went up to 3%. So if you're not in the proper gear and that happens, you can get caught unawares and end up wasting energy by using the wrong ratio and tapping into your glycogen stores prematurely. So you can see whenever possible, I turn off the power and use the draft, sit in, use the downhill, save every bit of energy because you never know when you're going to need it. Cleanest part of the road, quiet road. I don't have to dodge any obstacles. You can just relax and pedal.
Saving for that hill.
I told Paul my old shoes feel new. I have my first Euro shoes, and they're a bit tattered, but they're just like an old friend. They really conform to that foot. You hear Paul mention.
Like an old shoe that it's molded to your foot. Exactly.
Yeah, he said, like an old shoe that has been molded to your foot over time.
Leather has confirmed to that foot.
It fits me so well. It's one of my favorite pair of shoes to wear. Because of that, it's a bit long in the tooth. It's seen a lot of action. We're approaching FM 149. There's a slight gap to a few riders up there, but nothing significant. As the speed changes, I just rev, and then I soft pedal or stop pedaling once I start getting too much of a momentum. We're going to be turning right at the corner on FM 149, which will take us within about probably a kilometer or so to the turn for Spring Branch Road. So you'll hear me say cyclist left as we approach. I guess that didn't come through very clearly, but there was a rider back there. As we start to go here, I get on the shoulder, but I'm aware that this one house always puts the trash can on the road. And even though it's further back today, there's something sticking out, blocking this lane. Right there. It's hard to see. I had to call it out. Mark said, "I'm glad you called it out." It was like almost like a fishing rod in the trash can that's sticking out towards the traffic. So you really didn't see it till you were up on it. Could have hit somebody in the face. That was not very wise. That particular house, the trash can is always in the way every Saturday. Every time we come out here. But someone had called it, and then I saw it and I called it, so that everybody avoided it. We try to use the shoulder here because the road is busy, but we've already checked. There's not a whole lot of traffic coming. In a little bit, you will see me move to the front because we start getting gaps, and I don't want to work too hard once we get up here. See, Mike takes off and I go. All cadence. That's what it takes. That's acceleration. You're not going to pass too many people laboring in a gear. So the power's off. I'm on his wheel, and we're slowing down a little bit. This is a slight grade. But all of this stuff that's going on here, you can see this guy looks like he's laboring. That stuff tears up your legs when you just are not using the best gear for the situation. Eventually your legs just scream at you, and then you don't have the explosiveness you need when it calls for it. You will see that again as we get on Spring Branch Road. You will see me react to changes. You can see the gap will open back there. So riders are gapped. As we turn on Spring Branch Road, Mark's gonna ask Logan to hold on. Logan's the one in the front on the right, but he kind of keeps pedaling, and we're ready to ride. We don't want to wait too much, because if these guys did not want to be gapped back there, they should have paid attention and kept up. So I go ahead and reach for a gel here. It's a good time to get it in the system. You don't want to do it on the climb. We know there's a nice little 7+% climb coming up, and it's nice and long, and everybody attacks it. So James rides up to Logan. Then I think Mike Weingrad up there in the red, white, and blue will ride up. I'm kind of looking around, seeing who's doing what. As soon as Paul gets to me, I can see him in a mirror. A lot of times I can see his shadow. You'll see me pick up my pace. That's Darren in the blue. And usually we have some crazy dogs out here that chase us, but they were not out today, so that was cool. So Mike pulls up to the side. We're not really waiting. We're not riding full gas yet, because my thing is, I think this is perfect, because those guys back there that let the gap open should work to come back to us. We shouldn't make it easy for them. They need to try. They need to work on staying close, because we weren't going that hard. I like those reflectors on those shorts. A lot of the shorts nowadays have that. You can see how effective they are. It's so big. That's roadkill. A possum or something. That's the house on the right. That house will have those two dogs that chase us, but we didn't see them today. doing about 26, 27 miles per hour. I'm probably in an 84-inch gear. It's on now. It's time to ride. That rider that just went the other way, his name is Paul Meyer. He used to ride with us. He does a lot of long distance riding. Somebody's gonna mention that was Paul Meyer. One of the 3 Pauls we had in the group.
Paul Meyer. Oh yeah. I saw him.
So that was Mark that told Paulie Lunga that was Paul Meyer. Paul Meyer used to be a football coach. Lifelong athlete. So when you're riding, you need to pay attention to how you feel and be ready for anything. We're going to be approaching that long 7 to 9% climb. I stay in the big chain ring. I end up climbing it in a 53-25, which is like a 55, 56 inch gear, and I just rev it up. As we begin, you see the grades going up. I think I'm gonna show the power. Look at the watts go up from 2 to like 6. It's triple, almost 700 watts. And I'm a big guy, so I gotta put out a lot of watts to get up this stuff. And all I'm doing is holding my position. Dan moves on the left, and he sits up, so I'm not sure what that was. I guess he moved up a little bit in the group. I'm sitting on Darren's wheel. There's a lull as we crest the climb. The effort backs up a bit. I was tempted to go here, but I thought, let's wait. It's not hard enough yet. So Logan pulls off the front. He'd been pulling us the whole time before we got to the climb, so you know it made sense. So he pulled off here. So I go through, I get on Darren's wheel. Dan is still sitting on the left. Dan's gonna make a move later on. These are all the little things that you're gonna watch for. You gotta pay attention to how you feel. Is it the time to go? Is it too hard? Can I sustain this? All of that. I'm a little above sweet spot for me. So now look at James on my left. I'm sitting on the right. I am in the draft. He's not, and he's muscling a big gear. all of that wears you down. So Jerry goes. Paul say, here comes Jerry. The pace is picking up, and I'm looking for an opening to get up there. And as soon as Logan goes, watch my watts. 600 and some watts, and then the power's off, but I'm on Logan's wheel. But you saw how quickly I accelerated. When you're in the proper gear, you can do that. And you can do that repeatedly if you're prepared. So the power dropped to about 300, 250, 300 watts. It settled again. Now Jerry's going to pull for a long time up there. You can see people, we have people gap back there. It's on, we're riding here. Now, because I'm sitting in very tightly, you can see my watts, 160 thereabouts. That's how you save energy until it's time to put out more power. So you have to work on your ability to rev the gear. We're going down this hill here at 55, 56 kilometers an hour, about 34, 35 miles an hour. We're moving. And as soon as the road goes up, you will see the watts kick in again. So that's a slight grade there. It says 3%. We're going again. 300 plus watts. Almost double what I was doing a little bit ago. Now the power dropped again. The road leveled off a little bit. At this point, Jerry's been pulling for quite a while, and I don't know if he's off the front yet. Well, watch the watts again. It's gonna pick up because somebody made a move. The road's going up. It's time to work. It's going up and it stays up. About 3%. Jerry pulled off the front. And right here, James is dying. You can just see his body language and my wheels gapping him. So Paulie Longa moves in and takes the space. That's what happens when you don't use the best mechanical efficiency. It catches up with you. Because we really weren't going super hard at the time. Now watch, look at my acceleration. I was going so fast that I almost came up on Logan's wheel, so I just kind of stopped pedaling briefly. I got too close to it, and he was drifting to the right a little bit. But I'm very close in there. This is not the time to mess around. You need to be tight in the formation. In a little bit, I think Dan will make a move. You can hear the wind. We're working into the wind up this grade. I mean, we're just... The road goes up a little bit here. Abby rolls to the front, and then Jerry goes with him. The pace is changing out. I was gonna go, then I see that Mike Weingrass starts to go. So the deal is don't waste any energy that you can save. So Mike goes, he picks up that gap. Logan stays there, so I get on Logan's wheel because I was on the side just in case they didn't go. I was going to make sure I didn't get gapped. A little bit, I think Dan will take off. Right there on the left. Dan goes across the road and makes a move. Nobody goes with him. I stay on the right. Paulie Longa is on the left. This is what usually happens. There's a lull. Nobody wants to really commit. So Abby starts to ride up to Dan alone, which is a suicidal move actually, because the heavy hitters are still here. So in a little while, I think Jerry's gonna take the lead right there. So Jerry decides, okay, it's time to go. Watch my watts. Almost 700 watts. You see that acceleration? That's what it takes. And Jerry catches them that quickly. I go ahead and I tell Jerry, come on, Jerry. I'm giving him a lead out. And he knows. So Abby never made it to Dan. We passed Dan right there. So Paul tells Abby he's on the left. But basically I'm giving Jerry a lead out. So you're going to see me stand and kick up. Early sprint. I want Jerry to use that, the slingshot. And he's right there. You see, we leave Dan behind. Just a little acceleration. When it's hard for everybody, it doesn't take much. And as soon as he feels my speed drop, then he takes off. And you will see he and Logan pull away. I pull up to the side. I'm done. I turn off the power there. And Jerry go ahead. Jerry takes off. We're coming to the stop sign. Because when I told him let's go, he knew. And he came back later and told me, thanks, that was a perfect lead out. And he and Logan finish it off. There's a stop sign a few yards up the road. We had more of those exchanges on 1486, but that was off camera. But this is part of what we did on Saturday. I'm right behind Paul a little bit, just spinning down. You would see me come around and but I like to go when it's hard already. That's the time to go. That was fun. So I'm gonna come around everybody and go to the right, and Paul's gonna ask me where we're going. I tell him I don't want to stop here on the corner.
Yeah, you have a mechanical. I'm used to following him the whole ride.
Which way are we going?
I'm going that way.
I told him we're going the opposite way. I'm just spinning. So we're gonna turn around here. And that's what we did with the Team RR boys.